this evening here on talkSPORT. One team who did need to do a lot in the transfer market were Arsenal's bitter rivals Tottenham, but did they get what they needed come the close of the window? Joining us now is Cowlin from the Spurs Chat podcast. New goalkeeper in very early in the window. Kevin Danso, a new centre-back signed over the weekend. Then somewhat from nowhere, Mathys Tel arriving on loan from Bayern Munich with an option of a permanent transfer this afternoon. Are Spurs fans a bit happier with Daniel Levy tonight?
I suppose a little bit happier, Alex. Yeah, good evening to you. Of course, it's been a very frustrating window because Ange Postecoglou has constantly in the press conferences called out for help for the team because we have been at the bare bones. Of course, we're sitting 16th in the Premier League table, so we had to get business done in this window. There was a lot of frustration in the fan base earlier on today because they announced Beyonce concerts when we were on transfer deadline day needing players. Of course, they deleted the tweet at the end. Very, very frustrated fan base. But, you know, Spurs needs to get business done. But I think, in fairness, if you ask Spurs fans at the start of the window, how many players would you expect? If we all said 3 and we got 3, I think we would have all been happy. But the injury crisis at the club has just been horrific for Postecoglou. And, you know, we're holding every hope now that we can go far in cup competitions and perhaps lift a trophy after such a long time.
Yeah, I'm not sure too many of those Tottenham fans will be snapping up tickets for Beyonce. They're not crazy in love with Daniel Levy, are they? That's fair to say, Darragh.
I feel for... We've had that at the football club where your commercial use the socials and put out stuff. And, you know, I think we put something out today about the shop staff are off tomorrow because they're in training sessions. And we signed some young lad as a gem from non-league, you know, that we see as a future potential good signing. And the comments below it from, you know, fans obviously upset about us losing yesterday and where we are in the league and expecting us to sign 11 new players today. The comments, and you just like, you know, I can imagine this 18-year-old's parents reading, our son's just signed for Peterborough, really excited, and then you just see the bang, 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 all the comments. So I get it, I get the frustration and whatever else, but look, Spurs have ended up the day better than they started it. You know, they've made a few shrewd signings. I honestly think, if I was a betting man, they'll win a cup.
You think they'll overturn that or do you think they'll hold on to that lead against Liverpool?
I just think that, you know, Ange has that second season thing he always does well, and I think they're over their injuries. And the best thing for the Spurs fans through all of this, and I said it earlier on Sky, is what happened in the Cup last week with the 3 youngsters that have come on and scored, given that crowd a lift. Sometimes when your fans see your academy thriving, and Spurs have got a great academy, produce some good young players, that rough patch of injuries and the players and whatever else might have unearthed 1 or 2 young players from your academy that you think, hang on, they're going to be proper first-team players next year, and we won't have to go out and spend 50, 60 million to go and recruit in that position. So particularly the young 10, forget what his name is, he's been unbelievable the last couple of games.
Lucas Bergvall?
No, the Swedish boy, that's him. Love him. I think he all day long, you know, and durable. So, you know, I think Spurs, this will end up okay for them.
Chris, how big is this week ahead for Ange Postecoglou? You've got the second leg of that semi-final live on talkSPORT. Liverpool 1-0 up from the first game. We expect Mathys Tel to be available potentially to make his debut. Then it's Aston Villa in the FA Cup, and the Cups have been your salvation so far this season.
Absolutely huge week. That Liverpool game is absolutely massive for the football club. If Ange could put a trophy in the cabinet this season, it would be absolutely fantastic. The fan base really do need it because we haven't won a trophy in so long. 2008 is far, far too long for a club like Spurs. As I said, we've had lots of injury problems, but the Sunday game as well, of course, Aston Villa, that's a huge game as well. We've just got to pin all of our hopes now on lifting a trophy and making this a successful season. And I completely agree with what Darragh said about the younger players. You know, we've got a lot of players for the future. It's very, very exciting. But in some of these transfer windows, particularly the last one and this one, I feel like we do need, you know, a few more experienced players in there to help the youngsters through. Because, you know, I'm a great believer of planning for the future, but of course you need that great mix of experience in there as well.
Chris, cheers for joining us tonight. That's the Tottenham perspective then. And what's been a busy transfer window in that part of North London. We have just 15 minutes left of the show. Do join us after the break. We'll take a look at the whole of deadline day and round up the biggest deals as they happened.